Hello students, in this video I'll be explaining to you the 7th chapter, that is
King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. King Solomon is seated on his throne in the hall of audience where he receives visitors.
first of all, if you saw the scene that was in front of you, the king is seated in the palace. Palace means a place where a king lives. And most of you know, you might have watched in TVs, you might have watched in cartoons. Whenever a king is seated in the palace, in front of him there will be many other people who always sit with him, and they are known as courtiers. And why does a king sit in the palace? To receive visitors. Visitors means anybody. It can be a person who needs help, it can be a messenger, or it could be any person who comes to meet the king.
A messenger enters and bows before him.
The meaning of the word messenger is khabri, a person who brings messages. And the meaning of bow means what this man did right now. When we give respect to king or queen, we bow. Just as we bow before God, people also used to bow before kings and queens.
Speak, who wishes to see me? Sir, the Queen of Sheba has arrived.
The meaning of arrived means has come. A king cannot receive just anybody without asking. And the reason for that is there may be enemies also. They may want to attack or kill the king. So messengers and bodyguards are appointed so that they can inform the king about who is coming to meet him. And over here there is a particular queen, and the messenger says that she has brought many camels. And in the olden days, having camels, horses, elephants means these people used to be rich.
She has brought many camels loaded with treasures from her land.
Loaded means it was full of treasures. Now, treasures can be any kinds of costly or expensive things as gifts for your majesty. Just as we address people as sir, madam, in the same way, whenever we talk to a king, we will always use your majesty. Some people do call kings as sirs, but the proper way of addressing or calling a king is by saying your majesty. For example, a person who teaches you in school is addressed as teacher. You say teacher and then you take the name of the teacher. In the same way, a king is always addressed as your majesty.
As gifts for your majesty. See that the queen is properly welcomed.
And here now the king already knows who has come to visit him, and so he tells the messenger that this queen should be welcomed properly. Because if there would be a person who has come with a bad intention, with a wrong intention, these people would not entertain them or would not even allow them to come into the palace. And now the king tells the messenger, send the senior minister to me. In Hindi, minister means mantri, and senior means the most experienced or the most qualified person. For example, whenever a person has the most experience, or you can also say that person is well on in age and is an adult. For example, we had learnt in the lesson of Toothy's Christmas party. We had the owl who was the senior most. In the same way, the king tells the messenger, send the senior minister to me.
Send the senior minister to me. Here I am, your majesty.
This person is the senior most minister, and he comes in and he says, here I am, your majesty. See, as I told you earlier, whenever we address a king, we will always call him as your majesty.
Tell me about the Queen of Sheba.
Students, first of all, I want to tell you about this place, Sheba. This place was in earlier days also known as Saba, and in the modern days, in the modern times, Sheba is known as Yemen. Tell me about the Queen of Sheba. In the olden days, if anybody wanted to know about a particular place, they would take the name of the place and the name of the person. As we have over here, Queen of Sheba.
Describe the land she comes from.
Describe means the king wants some details about the place from where this queen has come.
Yemen, sir. It is a fertile strip of land on the other side of the desert.
The meaning of fertile is a place or specially soil where we can grow plants very easily. It is a fertile strip. Strip means it is a long thing of land on the other side of the desert. So from here you can know that there was a desert and this place Yemen was on the other side of it.
The people are sailors and merchants.
The people means the people belonging to that land are sailors. You know the meaning of sailors? People who work on ships. And merchants. As we had discussed in the story of the greedy crow, merchants are people who do trading.
And have become very rich by selling their goods all over the world.
Students, before explaining this to you, let me tell you one fact. This place that we are talking about, that is Yemen, is actually a poor place. The people belonging to that place are not so wealthy. But at the time of the Queen of Sheba, these people had become very rich. And you know how they had become rich? By selling their goods. Goods means whatever things they had all over the world.
Are their craftsmen good?
The meaning of craftsmen is people who make things using their hands. Students, please note there are many things that are also made with the help of machines. Those people are not known as craftsmen. For example, a potter can be a kind of craftsman. An artist can be a kind of craftsman. So the king wants to know how are these kind of people over there? Are they good or not?
Very good, sir. They make beautiful things of leather, wood, metal, gold and silver.
When the king asks the minister about all the craftsmen, he says that they make beautiful things of leather. And most of you students also have leather things. You have leather purses, wallets, bags. You also have footwear. Leather is something that is made out of the skin of animals. Wood, metal. Metal means specially it is about steel, iron, copper and all these things. Gold and silver are also kinds of metals.
She has a palanquin that is like a travelling throne.
Now, dear students, in your textbook, you will get to know exactly what a palanquin is. It is a kind of a small room, or you can say it is a kind of an olden day car. Nowadays, how we have cars with wheels. We have a motor inside the car, we just have to drive it. In olden days, these people used to have something called a palanquin, and this used to be carried by mainly four people. She has a palanquin that is like a traveling throne. The meaning of throne is this kind of a chair where a king sits.
Finely carved in gold and silver with soft leather curtains.
As we had discussed in one of the chapters earlier, how stories came about, I had explained to you the meaning of carving. So he says that the palanquin is finely carved. That means very small and minute details are carved in gold and silver with soft leather curtains. From this, we can know that the queen was very rich.
And why has she come to visit us? To pay homage and tribute.
The meaning of paying homage and tribute is how you do this to important people, especially if they are kinds of personalities or very well known people. For example, if you come before a king, you bow, you pay tribute, you pay homage, which also means giving respect to somebody. And the queen had a desire. Desire means ichha, to meet a ruler. Ruler means a person who rules. Or in Hindi we can also say कोई इंसान जो राज करता है. She had a desire to meet a ruler known for his great wisdom. Before we move further, I want to explain to you the word wisdom. I'll give you a very simple example. Most of you know that a tomato is also a fruit. But the thing is, we do not put tomato in a fruit salad. Why? Because the tomato will spoil the taste of the fruit salad. So I'll take you back to what I just said. A tomato is a fruit, which means that this is your knowledge. You know about it. But wisdom is not putting it in the fruit salad. Now, wisdom means you are using your knowledge in real life and you are applying it, you are doing it practically. So, this queen also wanted to meet a ruler who was known for his great wisdom.
And a desire to meet a ruler known for his great wisdom. The king smiles.
Now, whenever we talk about these kinds of kings, especially those who are very wise and very clever, they do not speak too much. You will notice that they speak less. And here the king did not say anything, he just smiled.
The queen stayed for a week and was very much impressed.
The queen stayed for a week. A week means 7 days, and she was impressed. Impressed means she saw the wisdom of King Solomon and she was really happy.
The king, too, was impressed by her beauty, intelligence, and courage.
Whose beauty? The beauty of Queen of Sheba, and also her intelligence. Intelligence means she was a very wise, she was a clever person. And courage. Now, why are we talking about courage? First of all, I'll tell you the meaning of courage is himmat. Now, for a woman, that too in the olden days, to travel from one place to another was not allowed and it was also dangerous. But the queen was very courageous and she decided to meet the king by coming all the way from Yemen to the land of the King Solomon.
So today we say goodbye, great lady. We thank you for your wonderful gifts.
Now 7 days have passed, that means a week is over, and the queen is about to leave from the palace of the King Solomon. And so the king says goodbye, and now the queen says, my gifts are nothing compared to your wisdom. Now, why she says this? Because the king had thanked her for the gifts. And the queen says that her gifts are nothing compared to your wisdom. Compared means we say in Hindi farak karna. That means the wisdom of the king was much more than the gifts given by the queen.
My gifts are nothing compared to your wisdom. You have solved many of my problems.
Solved means the king gave solution or tried to resolve many problems. which also means that the queen had come here for a week because she had many problems and she took help from the king, who solved them.
And are there no more I can solve?
Now you can see the king's cleverness, you can see the king's wisdom. Even after helping so much, he still wants to help the queen even more. And so he asks the queen, "Is there anything more that I can help you with?"
The king smiles. He knows that she will probably try to test him.
Again, the king smiles. He does not wait for an answer from the queen, but he knows that she will probably try to test him, which means that there are chances that the queen is going to test him. Test in what way? Not by giving any exam on any paper, but she will try to do something which will show the king's wisdom.
Him with a very difficult problem. She makes a sign, and her attendants bring in 2 pots of flowers.
As you just noticed, the queen's hand. If you did not notice, you can go back and watch that portion. She makes a sign. Sign means एक इशारा किया with her hand and her attendants. The meaning of attendants means people who take care of someone. For example, in our school also we have many attendants who are also known as peons. So she called them and they brought in 2 pots of flowers.
They are exactly alike and very beautiful.
Exactly means एकदम एक जैसे ही दिखते हैं. Alike means looking the same. And you can see over here now the queen says one more perhaps. One more means this is the answer to what the king had said a little while earlier. He asked the queen if she had any other problems.
One more perhaps. Of these pots, one is real and the other artificial.
First of all, the meaning of real means जो असली है, and the meaning of artificial means the opposite, that is नकली. So the queen says that the attendants have brought in 2 pots of flowers. One of them is real, the other one is artificial.
No one is able to tell which is real, but your Majesty's wisdom will solve this problem too.
Now you can see that the queen already has confidence in the king. She knows that if she tells the king to do something, he will surely do it because he is very wise. Now she says that nobody can tell the difference. Why cannot? Because both the pots look exactly the same. But still she says that the king can do it using his wisdom.
Look at the soft petals and the fresh green leaves.
Now please notice my cursor. This portion is known as a petal. In Hindi we also call it as patti. These green things are known as leaves. And in the image also you can see this and this both are looking almost the same.
Even the stalks and the grains of pollen are the same.
Now I'll show you what is a stalk. After that I'll show you what is grains of pollen and in which part of a flower or plant we have grains of pollen.
Have the pots taken out and placed in the garden.
Now here the king tells the people that these 2 pots should be taken out. It should not be kept in the palace. Take them out into the garden.
Let us go out and watch them. Everyone goes out into the garden. Look, even the bees and butterflies can't tell the difference.
Now, maybe this is the same person or it could be another person. When he sees the bees, bees means honey bees, in Hindi, what we call as madhumakhi. He says that even the butterflies, the bees, that means the insects, also can't tell the difference, which means that even the insects are confused because both the pods are looking very similar.
No, watch. They are leaving one pot.
Now the other one says, watch, they are leaving one pot.
And crowding to the other.
Crowding means सब यहाँ पर जमा हो रहे हैं. And you can see that this pot does not have any honeybees now. They are all leaving this pot and coming to this pot.
So, your problem is solved.
So now the king gives his answer that your problem is solved.
The creatures of nature have chosen the work of nature.
The creatures of nature. What do you mean by creatures? All living things. Even you are a creature, even I am a creature. This king, this queen, both of them are creatures. And all these insects are also creatures. And all of us belong to nature. And the king says that the creatures of nature have also selected or they have liked the things of nature itself. And he asks the queen, are you satisfied? The meaning of satisfied means aap santusht ho? Means whatever you want, have you got it?
Are you satisfied? I bow before your wisdom, O king.
I bow before your wisdom. As I had showed you earlier in the lesson, the meaning of bow. Bow means to bend forward a little to give respect. And at this time, the queen gives respect to the wisdom of the king because she had come here to see the wisdom of the king and she saw the wisdom. And students, before ending this chapter, let me tell you that in the olden days and till now, this king Solomon is known for his wisdom and he has been the wisest king of all times. So that's it for this video. Thank you, students.